Hello, welcome. It's a beautiful Friday here in the city of Port Harcourt, and I'm very, very much excited to have you join me here once more on the newspaper review. You already know what we do here. We bring you headlines across newspapers. We talk about them. We analyze them. Of course, having you join us by dropping your comments and reactions on the comment section here on the program. So you're very much welcome. We're going to get into the headlines in a very short while. It's Friday, the 7th day in the month of July. And of course, hope you're getting ready to enjoy your weekend. And I have my regular, co-host here, Victor Sioku.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
And together we're going to go through the headlines. So be sure you're also part of this by subscribing to this channel, clicking on the subscribe key, turning on the notification that helps you to get notified whenever we come up with new episodes of the program. But before we go there, Victor, are you ready for the weekend?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Hope you don't have so much work choked up for you.
No.
All right, that's great.
I was supposed to travel, but the what do you call it, sit at home thing, I had to just.
Oh, that is also still happening in some part of the east. And then we also have, governors, the new elected governors coming up to say, we don't want this anymore, especially that of Anambra State and a few others saying we don't want this sit-at-home order anymore. But we've also seen people trying to, go over this sit-at-home order, and then you see the issues coming up. How well are the governors and the security agencies doing to stop these, how would I put it, these militants, these rebels coming out to stop people from, going about their, usual business every other day? We don't know. That's not happening yet. The other day, Ebonyi State was on the news for this matter, and it wasn't really fair to those people that were injured, those people that were threatened, and all of that. Yeah. So, well.
It's really, sorry, Mr. Bule, it's really unfortunate that this kind of thing still happen.
Yeah.
Because you find out, like, the one that happened in Ebonyi State, it happened at a very popular market. Is it that the security agencies were not ready for such act? These guys had the time of their life to chase traders away, and nothing happened at the end of the day. So for me, it's just too embarrassing to see.
Well, if the southeastern governors are really against this, then they should come together and form a formidable force to stop this menace, because it's enough. It's enough. This has gone on for way too long, and we believe that by this time we should be moving on. Even Nnamdi Kanu at this time, I don't think he wants all of this drama. He wants to chase this in a different light, but we don't know that yet until we hear from him. But all we're saying is that this sit-at-home order is not doing anybody in the southeast any good. It is just stopping businesses and causing more harm than good to the people of the southeast, while other parts of the country carries on with their daily activities normally. All right, let's see what the headlines look like, and we'll begin with the Nigerian Tribune for today, the 7th day in the month of July. And on the Nigerian Tribune, we have as headline here, INEC files 6-count charge against suspended Adamawa rec to be arraigned next week. Finally, Victor, somebody is being taken to the courts for some electoral offenses. That is something that is not really common. People do this and that, nobody, gets to be jailed for any of this.
Yeah, I think the first part has been done by INEC. Okay, take the person to the court. It is now for the lawyers to now do their bidding and
ensure that he's prosecuted.
Yes.
Because his own offense was a clear one. Evidence is everywhere. All right, we move on to other stories still on the Nigerian Tribune here. We have as headline, Kano Anti-Graft Agency summons Ganduje over dollar video. Disregard invitation, APC tells former governor. You find story on page 23 of the Nigerian Tribune. What's to see here as headline, Senate set to probe concession of airports. Page 2 is where you get details of that story. We move on to the main headline here. It says, Tinubu suspends Buhari's tax policies, signs 4 executive orders. Amends Finance Act, suspends 5% excise tax on telecom services. Also, we see here, says further excise rates increases suggest inconsistency. Says further excise rates increases suggest inconsistency. Action will lift economy, save jobs. NECA speaking there. All of that details is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. We move on to other headlines still on the Nigerian Tribune here. We see Tinubu Shetima Group storms EU Secretariat, demands withdrawal of report on 2023 elections. That's a very, very strange report there. I wonder what they're doing. I mean, you invited these guys as observers, and they gave their honest opinion of what they thought was what they observed during the election. And you said they should withdraw it.
Interesting.
Don't invite them the next time. Leave the EU out of your election process. Since you think it's the cleanest procedure ever, it's the best, it's the fairest, don't call them again. Now you're organizing fake protesters to go to their EU house and say, we disapprove what you... I mean, Nigerian politics. I mean, APC, please. Oh. Nigeria missing among 12 African countries to benefit from malaria vaccines. Page 23 is where you get details of that story. We also see here Oshun civil servants work out on consultants handling staff audit. Page 10 is where you get details of that story. And lastly, court grants Abba Kyari 50 million naira bail after 18 months in prison. Page 26 is where you get details. And we also see this very fine picture of Baba Jide Sawunlu receiving Aminat Yusuf or Moitseme, the Lagos State law graduate that finished with all-time record CGPA of 5.0 at the Lagos House in Marina on Thursday. That's very good of Baba. Beautiful. I mean, this is quite a relief from all the drama that came from the fake jam results the whole of this week. This shows that there are some people that are really dedicated to really succeeding and achieving excellence. Kudos to this beautiful law graduate for hitting the 5.0. I mean, let's get too serious. So, Victor, I'm impressed. All right, let's move away from that story to our main discussion for today. And we're going to take on the main headline, which is talking about Tinubu suspending tax policies, signs 4 executive orders, and a lot of people, businesses are saying, bravo to the president. What's your take on that story?
So the palliatives are coming.
Finally.
Yeah, the palliatives are coming. And some persons will be like, oh, the common man will be like, this is not just about me. Because what's my business with all these taxes?
Yeah.
But they've forgotten that many of these taxes affect one way or the other their life.
Yeah.
Okay. For instance, the 5% tax on telecommunication companies. Mind you, these taxes, it also affects you when you are making your calls. You might not just know, okay? You think that, call is not the main thing. It's about the price of garri and the price of rice in the market, okay?
Yeah.
But yes, it is also saving you some money when these taxes are being removed.
Yeah.
Now, there is a very, very cool thing that the essay, that's Aleke essay for information.
Media, that's Dele Alake.
Dele Alake.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not pronouncing that guy.
Alake.
Alake. Okay.
Yeah.
For him to come out to say, see, this is about not taxing the poor Nigerians. Okay? We need to tax production. We need to tax consumption, not production. Okay? Remember, we always say this, that most companies, most manufacturing companies have been crying out that, see, they are going out of business because there are many taxes. Okay? And it's been recorded that 50 taxes exist in businesses. Wow. 50. Okay? So now, the government, which to me, it is a very good innovation. Knowing that just recently, while the former president was leaving office, just few weeks where he was leaving office, he added most of these taxes. Especially the green tax. The green tax whereby for every company that produces plastics, they add tax to you. Okay? But when you now, these taxes are being removed, tobacco taxes. Companies, some persons will be like, tobacco, I don't smoke and all that. But see, it is still part of life. All these taxes, when you add them up, it goes down to the consumers. The consumers pay more. So this is big kudos for the government. And I'm so excited, to be very frank with you. And this has also started showing that, see, okay, the palliative that we are talking about is coming into action. Remember, these taxes also, they remove the taxes about custom duties on vehicles.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
They removed it.
Yes. And what does that mean? It means that our mass transit vehicle, just like I don't want to mention any name, but all these shuttles that make these trips from Port Harcourt to Lagos, Lagos to Ibadan and the rest. You find out that getting these vehicles, okay, will be a lot cheaper. Okay, meaning that they are not going to be spending as much as they were spending some months back, and those monies means that it is coming back to the consumers, meaning that the cost of it will also affect the cost of running these transport companies. So imagine where you are buying a Hiace bus for 30 million or 35 million, but now you will be spending like, let's say, 28 million. It makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
It makes so much sense.
Of course.
So this is what we've been expecting.
Yeah.
People have been crying out loud, and I also want them one more tax that I think they should remove, and that is the tax that is upon diesel. The VAT on diesel, the 7.5 percent VAT on diesel should be really taken into consideration. The reason because most manufacturing companies use diesel to power their engines.
Sure.
Okay. So when they are buying diesel at a very high cost, it goes down to the product.
Yeah.
Meaning that the consumers will spend more. So big kudos. I hope to see more of this initiative coming from the president.
Of course, we are hoping to see more from this government. They've been doing so much to try to tell Nigerians that we're here for you. We'll do everything to encourage production and not only consumption. We need to get to the point where Nigeria will be seen as more of a production company than a consumption country, I mean to say. So, yes, this is a very good move, right step in the right direction to encourage a lot more investors to come in and say, okay, we're not ready to stifle you all with so much taxes. And that's what Nigerians are really worried about. The taxes are getting so much, multiple taxation from every corner, and businesses, most of them cannot even withstand it again. Some of them are folded up. We already know some of these companies that have left. One of the biggest companies that left in the last few years, or that almost, I don't know if they've even really gone, that's, what was it called again? ShopRite. They complained at some point saying, oh, we're going back to South Africa. You people are not helping us. But then we still see some of their branches around. We don't know whether it's now those are franchises or how it's done. But then
ShopRite should not also forget, or the South Africa should not also forget that, yes, it might not be working well for ShopRite, but they should remember that DSTV is also there doing their bidding.
Every time. Oh, yeah, okay. They keep increasing.
MTN, which is, come on,
those ones,
still South African
those
company.
Ones. They are the biggest, I don't know how to call them. They really turned Nigerian economy to be one of theirs, and they are making good money out of Nigerians.
So it means so much that, see, if Nigerians can also, see, we need to export our services.
True.
Look at what is happening to South Africa.
True.
They are churning so much money from the Nigerian economy and sending it back home.
Very true.
So imagine Giant of Africa. Giant of Africa shouldn't be bad, man. It shouldn't be about consumption and consumption. You should make way to send out your services so that those services can bring money back to the country. And lastly, I want this government to also be very, very frugal about mode and ways of collecting these taxes. They need to, will I say, filter out all those elements that are collecting taxes for their own pockets and not to the coffers of the government. Okay? And I need to also say this. We have fraudulent custom officers out there. It is not a hidden information. We have people out there collecting taxes that were supposed to be for the government.
Remitted to government, yes. And that is also making it look as though monies that are meant for the government are not coming in enough. So yes, of course, government will be thinking, we're not making money off these people. Oh. Look at all these businesses, what's going on?
Yes.
Meanwhile, people are actually paying these taxes, but to who?
And look at the ripple effect. Just imagine a businessman or an importer imports a product. Maybe the person is supposed to use 2 million to do the clearing. And at the end of the day, due to, by the government standard, maybe it should just cost about 2 million. But due to the other taxes, by be it fraudulent union or custom officer that say, okay, before this document passes my table, you need to pay 50,000 before I sign on this document. But see, at the end of the day, that importer will also add the cost to the product.
True. Very
at
true.
the end of the day too, it will now still backfire to the consumers. The consumers will not be the ones paying for those taxes.
Very
those
true.
illegal taxes. So it is better that those taxes get into the covers of the government, so that we will not say, okay, the government will be using it for so and so. Then lastly, at the end of the day, by the time they've collected these taxes, what about wastages? But I don't think we have time to
all right, yes, if we stay on that story, it will not finish today. But then let's move on to our next paper, and that will be the Daily Independent newspaper. And we have as headline on the Daily Independent, the main headline says, only capital boost may stop $1,000 exchange rate. 1,000 naira dollar exchange rate, analyst says. All right, that's the main headline here. And also we see here as headline, Nigeria records 798 diphtheria cases, 80 deaths. Also, Abba Kyari remains in custody despite court admitting him to 50 million naira bail. Remember Abba Kyari, the police officer? Is finally getting bail for 50 million naira.
The question is whether they will not release him.
Well, the judge, according to the judge, is letting him go on bail because during the prison break in Abuja, Kuje prison break, he chose not to escape. He stayed. But is it possible that he would have been able to escape back then?
Yes, possible. It's possible.
Would have left the country.
Of course, if James Ibori will turn to a woman and leave the country.
Interesting. Nothing we don't see in Nigeria. All right, let's move on to other headlines here. We have a headline here, stakeholder condemns relocation of aviation agencies to Abuja. Canvasses investigation into Nigeria Air project. Says former minister destroyed aviation industry. You find that story on page 29 of the Daily Independent newspaper. We also see here as headline, Tinubu asks NPC to sustain plans for 2023 census. Set to propose new date for census conduct. Senators shield ex-finance minister Zainab from $10 million gas deal probe. Senate probes concessioning of airports by Buhari administration. Page 6 is where you find details of those stories. And at the bottom strip here, we see Tinubu sets aside Buhari's tax policies to grow businesses, suspends 5% excise tax on telecom services, import tax adjustments levy on certain vehicles, the first execution of Finance Act, customs tariff. Right, that's all the headline I'll be taking on the Daily Independent newspaper. Let's take on this story about Tinubu sustaining plans for the 2023 census. Interesting. I've been wondering myself, it's been months before even the general elections that we had the news about Nigeria conducting a new census. Let's know what the count or the new number of Nigerians are. But then all of that has been on discourse for quite a while, back and forth. It has been calm for a while, but now the presidency is coming up with this new energy saying we must do the census, we must have it done. All right, what's your take on that story?
Okay, sorry, before I get into this detail, I think I need to correct something. The person that Jackpad turning to a woman should be Alamese, your governor.
Oh yeah, Alamese.
The Amasoma King. Right?
Very true, yes.
He's the one.
Yes, he disguised himself as a woman. True. So, he's late now though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now NPC, that's a National Population Council or Commission. The census, yes, like you mentioned, the census was supposed to have happened before the election.
Yeah.
But yeah, the country was not really in the mood to have census as at that time. Okay, then we're like, okay, after the election, let it happen by April. April came, the government of them wasn't really keen, and now a new government, and it was supposed to happen. And as it stands right now, it has been suspended indefinitely. But here are the issues. For me, census is something that should be done. It's over 20 years that it happened, or about 18 years that it happened. But it is something that needs to be done for us to know ourselves, for us to have data about ourselves, for us to know that, okay, this the actual number of houses that we have in a particular location, so that in planning, we should know that, okay, this particular settlement we need water, we need roads, we need school or not. That is how it is done in other crimes. Okay? But now the issue is that, see, this census has been planned over and over, and 100 billion has already been spent. So what then happens? Yes, it has been shifted forward. Mind you, inflation is happening.
Good.
Mind you, some persons have been trained, and mind you, training expires, meaning that many of these guys might be retrained
again.
Okay.
And that's coming at a cost.
Extra money. And as it stands, the budget has increased to up to 500 billion. That is a whole lot of money. 500 billion with the way Wike built bridges. We should be talking about 50 bridges. I just imagine spreading 50 bridges in Nigeria. It will make so much sense.
Yeah.
So, but we cannot also undermine the fact that it is an important thing to do.
True.
No two ways about that. And they will also come out, that's the head of the chairman of the commission, has also come out to say, see, yes, it's sounding that we are going to spend, Nigeria is going to spend so much money on this. But from the scientific point of view, it is very, very necessary.
I agree.
Especially for our research institutes and research students out there. There is this particular data in the field of geophysics that we are finding so difficult to get. And we are very sure that by the time this census is being carried, I'm talking about geostatistic modeling and geospatial data. Those data will go a long way in helping in our research. Okay, it will also go in a long way for the government to make money because these data are being bought by international oil firms, not just only oil firms. Big companies out there need this data to plan, especially when it also comes to marketing. Marketing companies buy this data, huge sum of money for them to buy this data, and they use it for their own data analysis and all other stuff. So at the end of the day, we will use this data to know the true number that we are in the country.
Very true.
In Nigeria, yes, it also Nigeria is a challenged country. So in a situation whereby these numbers will come out, you find out that some persons will protest.
Yeah.
Especially when they say, okay, you guys are minority.
Of course, we get to hear things like that. It happens all the time.
Exactly.
They say these people have played something funny. There's wayo in this matter. How dare they say the population in Kano is more than the one in Port Harcourt? You hear things like that.
And
but
that will also create some kind of political tension, whereby some places will be like, okay, we just have this number of Federal House of Representatives, we are supposed to have more. Okay? Some places will be like, okay, we just have this number of local government. Okay? Local government areas. We need to have more. It will really create tension, no two ways about that. But I just want it to happen because there is a lot of benefit to it.
Of course, very important that we have the census done because it's necessary. It's high time that we have this already. We're tired of using the same old figure of Nigeria, a population of a little above 200 million persons. We know that may have doubled or it has grown really high. So all of that is what we're hoping that the MPC will get to do before the end of this year or maybe first quarter of next year. We don't know what the new administration would want them to do. All right, let's move away from that story, but we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take our last paper for the day. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey there. Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Come back from that break and we want to thank you for watching up to this time. We're still taking the newspaper headlines on our newspapers today, and we are going to take our last paper for today, and that will be The Guardian. Yes, the noise in the background is, of course, rain. Rains. We're in the middle of the rainy season, and let's also not forget that NIMET, the Nigeria Meteorological Commission, has been talking about flooding this year. Yeah. And they are worried about September. That's the coming out from the break from August. What might happen? I hope we are all planning, state governments, both the federal governments, all doing what it is required not to get into the flood situation that we had about a year ago.
Yes. I hope that people take notes.
Yeah, I drove through the East-West Road up to Delta State some days ago, and those parts of the road that were badly damaged by this flood is yet to be repaired. I don't know whether the government is waiting for the next flood before they go back to doing something about it. But then we're worried. If we're more proactive, we may not have to face some of these flood challenges that we face. But in Rivers State here, like you rightly mentioned, places like Ahoda, almost every year, they experience these floods. All right, let's go into the Guardian newspaper, and we'll begin with this headline. It says here, Nigeria's 33 trillion naira stock market undervalued, trading at discount. You find this story on page 15 of the Guardian newspaper. We also see here, fuel subsidy. Doctors want 550% salary increase. Threatened strike July 13th. Interesting things are happening, now because of fuel subsidy. The doctors want to go on strike. All right, to the main headline, it says, advocacy for pay on death law heightens as unclaimed funds near 1.3 trillion naira. Wow. I'll take that again. It says, advocacy for pay on death law heightens as unclaimed funds near 1.3 trillion naira. Very interesting. You find that story on page 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving downwards, you see here, asset declaration, court grants Abba Kyari 50 million naira bail. Temporary relief as Tinubu suspends Buhari's 11th hour tax drive. And at the very bottom strip, it says here, Kano Anti-Graft Agency invites Ganduje for questioning. All right, that's all the headlines I'll be taking on the Guardian newspaper. So, Victor, let's take on this matter about death law, pay on death law. I mean to say, a lot is happening. People die, and the monies that their families are not aware of get stuck in the bank. Some of them are never discovered, and these monies have been there to the tune of 1.3 trillion naira. What is going on? What do you think is happening?
It's a big issue. No two ways about that. And it's also making some families, especially the elderly and the ones that are sick, making them not to now keep monies in the banks. What other persons also do is that the ones, mind you, death also can come at any time. You cannot tell when it comes, okay? So for retired persons out there, what they do is they make sure there is an ATM card. Okay, they even streamline all their money to one bank, have an ATM card, make sure that the ATM has some days almost it. Okay, now it could have been a lot easier if those processes, like getting the letter of administration, which when somebody dies, okay, when you get to the bank, when a loved one dies, when you get to the bank, they will ask you for that letter of administration and some documents. But the issue now is that there are some heavy bottlenecks out there that will stop you from getting those documents. And sometimes the cost of getting those documents might even be more than the money in the bank. So what are you left out with? Sometimes they just need the money. We already have that decree by the CBN that going forward, that monies that have been dormant for a particular period of time will be collected and be invested in treasury bills. Okay?
For the government.
For the government. And some persons are like, no, that should not happen. And mind you, the CBN on their own, in as well as yes, they need money. If you also keep aside the part of the person that have died and their monies have been stocked, you still have challenges where some monies that are in the bank cannot be claimed because of fraud. Mind you. Some monies in the bank cannot be claimed because of they've not done BVN on those monies.
Okay.
Are you getting me? And those people that have those monies might not want to do BVN forever for those monies because they know that when they ever those monies are the evil eye are looking at the money, so that anybody that wants to claim that money, the person will be will be will I say, grabbed or cuffed. Now, it has also made it, unfortunately, it has made it that people that die, their monies will be in that category. Okay, but going forward, you now ask the question: why the essence of when you and I we are filling our bank opening form, we declare next of kin?
Yeah. So what is the purpose of the next of kin? If the next of kin cannot access the money, why, when you make it so difficult for them to access the money, then why do that? Why do that?
You now also ask the question: should it not be that next of, if the banks or the authorities are scared of giving money to the next of kins, okay, can they now do more like a more authorization when you and I are opening our bank account? That say, just like you have in social media, when we are opening a Facebook account, if you want to go further, bro, if you want to go further in doing your registration on Facebook and other social media, and they will tell you, who do you want to handle this account if
in case you're not here,
you die? Are you getting me? So, and these are very simple, easy ways to go about this, but in Nigeria we complicate issues for ourselves, and it is not also evil or bad for one to bring a letter of administration just to show some documents. But the problem is that these documents, it can take ages, take time, take a whole lot of sweat and money for you to get those documents. A friend of mine, I will mention this, a friend of mine, the mom died, and in his own case, he was even able to, due to he had a relationship with the cashier, one would be like, it's good to make sure that once in a while. Okay, but yeah, this is not, it is not good ethics. It is not the way bank should be run. But would I say, fortunately for him, he was able to talk to the banker, and one way or the other,
you were able to claim the money. And it's so cool that this is being brought up at this time, because truly a lot of people face very serious difficulty trying to access this money. Some get frustrated and leave these monies in the bank, and we also have seen cases where some of these bank managers and bankers, they move the monies to accounts where they can steal this money. So yes, I mean, the government should try to reduce the bottleneck for loved ones to be able to claim these monies of their deceased ones, knowing truly well that some people truly worked hard to have gathered these wealth, only to lose it because an untimely death hit the family, and then they suffer while they have so much money to claim over some time. All right, I want to thank you, Victor, for coming, and also to our viewers, thank you for watching. The rains are getting heavier, but thank you for staying with us up to this time. Until we come your way again next time, my name is William Sabule, and this has been the Newspaper Review.